Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I appreciate your time and
Thank
I
you
look
so
forward to
much.
getting to know you. So let's start with first who you are, what you're running for, and why you feel that you're the person for the job right
Yeah,
now.
for sure. First, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to have a conversation with me. And I feel like right now we're just at a really pivotal point. Not only here we are nationally, but right here in Waller County, even locally, right in Prairie View. I'm running because I believe that Prairie View believes and should have something better. We are in a pivotal time in our community where we have resources coming down to 90, but where are we? And if we continue to allow those resources to come down and we continue to sit on our hands, all that development is going to go right past us, and we're going to be the ones sitting out cold. So I'm really running to ensure that our voices are at that table. We have someone in the community that can speak for us, and that's generally what I'm trying to do.
That's awesome. I love your passion.
Thank you.
So, why specifically the mayor role?
Yes, for sure. So as I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go, where I would fit out perfectly on this plate, I chose mayor because I believe that not only does the city need people at the table to speak for them, but they actually need a clear direction. We need a strategic vision. And right now, the city currently lacks that leadership. We need someone at the table who can not only speak on the issues from a historical standpoint, but also speaks to where we need to go futuristically. It's time that the city of Prairie View could stop looking back from the last 10 years, the last 20 years, and start looking to what the next 5, 15, 20 years to look like. So when we look that, we need to be looking futuristically, see what our kids, our grandkids will look like in this community and not what we have come used to in this community. So that's kind of the biggest thing I'm running for because I believe that the mayor drives that engine in that change.
Have you ran for city council before, or are you just going right into mayor?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually was a city council member before. I was a city council member for 2 years. I ran while I was a senior in college. So I was a senior in college and then I graduated and then served 3 more years after that. And then only reason honestly I left because I decided to go to law school. And it was actually tough deciding to leave that seat to pursue an education. But at the end of the day, I decided to come back because I really felt this community and I felt like there was a lot of things that we didn't get to do while I was on city council. So I'm coming back to finish the job.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. My biggest emphasis with what I do is bringing more awareness to these municipal elections, these very local elections, that it's not just about focusing on the presidential elections. And of course, we even have a primary before that. But starting very local and recognizing that this has a significant impact on everyone's lives. So many people don't even know what a mayor even really does at the city level. So, how would you explain this role in everyday terms, like for people to easily digest?
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny because mayors, it depends on what city you're in, what that kind of looks like, but mayors can really do a lot to very little. And so it just really depends on the city. But the cities like you can have a big mayor like Houston, or you can have a limited mayor. And at one point, the city used to be a big mayor, but we changed that during my time on city council. So now we have what is called a city manager form of government. So basically, what that entails is the mayor oversees the policy direction for the city. So it works with the city council to create a policy direction for the city, and then we then give direction to the city manager to implement that policy. So in essence, the mayor is not the chief executive of the city, that is the city manager. However, the mayor is like the chief policy expert of the city, the chief policy administrator of the city, working with the city council, and together they then have the city manager implement that change or carry out their directive. So that's what the mayor does from a day to day. They meet with citizens. If there's problems, of course, you call your mayor, you call your city council member. It's not a role here in the city of Prairie View where you have a lot of day to day administrative action, but it is a role that you have a lot of day to day policy action. And that's how a lot of things are going to have to get changed in the city of Prairie View. We are a city currently that lacks a lot of policy. And when you don't have a lot of policy, you don't have a lot of development. And so it's going to take our city to start getting policymakers to the table, start having committees so we can start moving our city forward, start putting things on paper, start getting engineers in the right place so we can start moving our city forward. So when we have that policy, we can start having that infrastructure, we can start having a better city.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned when constituents have these concerns or issues, what's some examples of some of those issues that they can bring to the table? Because some don't even know, what am I supposed to bring to the mayor?
Yeah.
The issues that they face in their day to day, which ones of those come to the mayor?
Yeah, really, honestly, anything that affects their day to day life as a resident, as a student, as a community member, that needs to be brought to the attention of your city government. So it's just really trying to see what type of city government do you want for you. And I feel like that's every race you want to be involved in. Every race that kind of, you want a city government that works for you. So you want a city government that's involved in your day-to-day life. If you have a high water bill, you should be able to call your city council, city council member, city mayor, and be like, hey, why do I have this high water bill this month? If I'm have across the street and I'm having weeds grow, why is Public Works not coming and cut these down? Why do we not have any parks in our community? Things of that nature. These are all things that the mayor in particularly works with the city council to advance. Why do we not have proper infrastructure? Why do we not have HEB? Why do we not have a medical center? All these things, the mayor kind of leads that direction and that discussion to ensure that those things can be brought to our city.
Yeah. And you mentioned a little bit, you answered my question as far as how they can call your city council member or your mayor, but how do they access you? Where do they go find you? Is it the website? Where's the phone number? How do people gain access to their council members and their mayor?
So for the city of Prairie View, I would say that, we have pretty accessibility to our local officials because we are a tight-knit community, but that's how it should be. You should be able to pick up the phone and be able to call your mayor. I know when I was on city council member, a lot of members of the community have my personal phone number. I would just give my phone number out, my email out. They need to contact me. A lot of people, a lot of students especially, reached out to me on Twitter, Instagram. We truly try to meet the people where they are. So when I'm elected, I'm going to continue that. If someone needs to reach out to me, pick up the phone and call me. I'm going to give my number out to the community. I'm not going to be a stranger to that. If they need to reach out to me, email me. I want to try to meet the people where they are. If I run into them at the Dollar General and they have a problem, we're going to see if we can fix that problem right then. So we need a government that's going to be there and transparent for the people, listen to the people that it serves, and that it all happens when we show up for the people.
So they can find the City of Prairie View website and social medias. And then on the website, they can find either a phone number and email to ask you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Why should someone in Prairie View care about this election right now? Again, because municipal elections do get the lowest turnout. Some people don't even know what's going on or what they're even voting for. So why should they care? Why should they show up even if they've never voted? Think about someone who has never voted before. Maybe this is going to be their first time. If they've never voted in a local election before, why should someone care about it?
Because local government elections matter way more than any election that anyone will ever vote for in their life. And we probably vote for local elections the most because they matter the most. We will go to the ballot the most in our lifetime for a local election because they matter so much. Local government is the closest to the people. It is the closest to everyday life. They're the closest to understand what the people are feeling. So it's important that we have leaders in there that can understand that can understand how government works and can understand how to meet the moment for the people that it serves. And so I feel like that's why this moment right here is so important for Prairie View, but just in all across the country. Local governments need to be moving in a direction, especially when you have the backdrop of the state politics and national politics, but local governments really have the opportunity to cater niche communities for the people that they serve. So if there's problems directly affecting their community, that I might have this same problem that's affecting us here is not the same problem that's affecting us in Houston. It's not the same problem that's affecting us in Austin, Wichita Falls, all across
Right.
the state of Texas. These problems are affecting us right here in Prairie View. And so we elect people to take care of these problems. And these are the only people, honestly, who are charged to take care of these problems. These are the only people. So when we elect the mayor, when we elect the city council, they are the only people charged to take care of Prairie View. But our problems are not going to get fixed by voting in a presidential election for the things kept here in Prairie View. They're not going to get fixed by voting for a governor. If we want real change, we want the change that we need to see, we want to be the change that is coming down the pipeline, we got to get sensible leaders that listen to the people in there. And so that's why every election is important. But I will always say that local elections matter way more than any election that we will vote for in our lifetime because they are closest to the people and they affect our daily lives with a snap of a finger.
Right. And we can say it's important till we're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, we have to go meet the people where they are. So what are you doing to get that message out there, especially for students on any campus really, but specifically Prairie View? They feel the least impacted or that it's not very relevant to them. So how are you getting that message across to constituents of Prairie View to come vote?
Yeah, for sure. I'm no stranger to this community, so I know people. I know the community. I feel like I know the community very well. I was once a student at the university, so I know just the sense and flows of how our community goes. I have a really good pulse inside in the actual city side, and I have a really good pulse on the university side as well. But it's just more, I believe you said it, meeting the people where they are. So whether we're on campus and I need to meet you during a hump day, or if I need to meet you while you're going to eat lunch, we're going to do that. We're going to engage with you. We're going to talk to you what you want to see in the city. We want to need to meet you at an organization. If your organization's meeting, let us come talk to your organization why voting is important. And so whether, and the same thing on the community side, if we need to host events that bring the community together, let's do that. If we need to come and knock on your door, call you on the phone, we're going to do that as well. We're truly going to try to meet the people where they are. If I see you at Dollar General, how are you doing, Mr. So-and-so? Good to see you. Are you aware that election day is coming up? Make sure you go vote. Starbucks, same thing. So I feel like it doesn't matter where the conversation is, whether it be in the university, whether it be in the city, the message is the same. We need to go vote. We need to make sure that we are taking care of the city, and we need to make sure that we are preparing it for the future, 2030, 2035, and 2040.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, have you been going door to door?
Yes, I have. So I started go door to door a week ago. So that was my first time getting out door to door, knocking on doors. I was really happy to get back into the community. A lot of them were really happy to start seeing my face. Ever since I've been getting back on the scene, they were able to see my face, see that I'm back, and just really talking to the community people. Like I said, I was a student when I was first on city council. So of course my base was the students, but when I was a city council member, I quickly had to learn how to govern. I became a city council member for all, not just the students. And during that time, I genuinely made a great connection with some of the long-term residents here who's been here their whole life, and really made the city what there is. Like, they are literally the history of this city, and nothing can really move without them. And you see that every day to day. So just to get back at them, seeing the people in the community, I'm looking forward to it. If I haven't knocked on their door yet, I'm looking forward to doing that during this campaign. But that's what it's going to take to move the city forward. It's going to take all of us coming together to build a Prairie View for the future.
Yeah. And what are some of the things that you're hearing, even though you've only gone door to door short term, but you've been out in the community in different aspects? What are some things that you're hearing in talking to these people?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing that I'm hearing right now when I'm talking to the people in the community, when I'm talking to the students on campus, is that they want change. The way that they see government is not working for the people that it serves. The bickering, the arguing, the long city council meetings that have no result, or there's no merit to them, honestly, sometimes. And we have these long city council meetings. What are they producing? What is the production of those long city council meetings? I think that's the biggest thing that I've been hearing when I've been out in the community. And what am I going to do when I'm elected to, one, change the amount of how long the city council meetings are, but what I'm going to do to actually bring results to the city. We can talk about the problems that we see in the city, but what am I actually going to do to actually bring solutions to the city? And I believe that have done that. I believe that I've shown that we can do that when we are together. I believe that I have a access plan to do that, but it's going to take us coming together. We can fight each other all day long, but fighting each other is going to put us backwards. It's going to, us coming together is the only way that we move forward. And I feel like if you look around us, I feel like that's how everybody else they've been able to grow. They're coming together. We need to come together.
Leads into my next question. You answered a little bit, my assumption anyway, but we talked about how these local elections usually do get the lowest turnout. Why do you think people choose to skip them? Part of what you said was everything's just so divided and just takes a long time. So that in itself is, people don't want to come. But aside from that, why else do you think people skip these elections? And what would you say to someone who thinks their vote just doesn't even matter? Like, they skip it because they think it doesn't matter. What would you
Yeah,
say to
well,
those people?
I'm going to start with that answering the last question first. What people that your vote don't matter absolutely matters. Absolutely matters. Here in this community, not even 2.5, 3 years ago, so literally maybe 2 election cycles ago for a local election, we literally had a student run for the city council position and lose by 1 vote. 1 vote. And so it's in that 1 vote, I think about that 1 vote all the time. Literally, I could have went and pulled 2 people off campus. I could have went to the Dollar General and just pulled 2 people. Let's go vote. And then that candidate would have won. So I think about that as just like literally one person has the influence to change the direction of generation. And when you think about it, and your vote matters. And I tell people this all the time. When I was on campus here, I did a lot of when it concerned voting rights. I was part of a group of students that actually sued Waller County to protest them from changing our voting poll locations. And I tell people all the time when I'm going around speaking about voting rights that if they did not care about our vote so much, if they felt like that your vote did not matter so much, they would not be trying so hard to suppress it.
Yep.
And literally trying so hard, especially in where we are right now. I call this ground zero ground for voter suppression and for setting colleges all across the nation the opportunity to right to vote where they attend school. That was founded right here on these grounds at Prairie View A&M University.
Right.
So I take the right to vote very sacred, very seriously, and that's because of course, where I come from, being here at PV. But that's really important. The right to vote, really important, and everyone has a right to vote. And so if your voice did not matter, they would not be trying so hard to suppress it. That's number one. But to answer the first part of that question now, I think it's going to just be more so that the community just needs to understand why your vote matters. I feel like, yes, we can talk. Think we can understand, we can see why it's important, but I think it's going to take the people understanding why their vote's important. In order for them to see why their votes is important, they're going to have to see real-time change. They're going to see how that affects them. And if they're not seeing results, if they're not seeing change when they go vote, it's kind of thing, why do I continue to do this if things continue to happen? Why do, it's just, in voting, it's inconvenience. It really is an inconvenience. So if I want to inconvenience my day to go vote or take time out of my day to go vote, how does that serve me? And so we got to make sure that we're serving the people.
Right. Absolutely. Our vote is our voice. And just because one person votes and they feel like nothing's happening, it's because not enough people. We need enough people to get out there. It does require more than one, but we need everyone else to chip in
Play
and
their
show
part.
up.
When everyone plays their part, the system works. When
Right.
people don't play their part, we don't get candidates that fully represent the full system. And I think that's been a time we have been in when we have candidates that don't represent the full system because the full system is not engaged in the process.
I agree 100%. Okay, so diving in a little bit deeper to if elected, what is one thing you want people to feel or experience differently in their day-to-day?
I feel like when elected, the number one thing as mayor is I want the people to feel like they have a government that listens to them. I feel like that's top priority. When you have a government that listens to you, especially a local government that listens to you, we are able to achieve so much. A lot of that's going to be coming together. I think to listen to your voice, you have someone in City Hall that I know that I can call and I have a concern and it will get addressed. And I feel like that's going to be number one, listening to the people that we serve. And then number two is building a city where we can all live, work, and thrive. If we can do that, and that's all building a city that we can live, work, and thrive is gonna come in tangent with it, listening to the people that it serves, because we can't build a city if we're not listening to the people. It's gonna be some growing pains in that, of course. So that's why it's gonna be important that we're listening to the people to figure out how do we build a city that's reflective of all of our values? How do we build a city that can be something that honors our past, but also looks to our future? So that's going to be the biggest thing. I want the community to be able to come into a city where they know that their families can live here safely. They can raise a family they want to. I want students to be able to know, and their families to know, that when their families drop them off in the city of Prairie View for their freshman year, that they can not only pursue an education if they wanted to, but if they wanted to stay in the city of Prairie View to continue career, they can. They wanted to raise their family, they can. We want to make sure that we are providing jobs for those students and for our residents, not just allowing the university to have to depend on work study and things of that nature. So it's time for the city to begin playing its part as an economic partner and really trying to take some of the burden off of our residents and creating a stable tax base as well. So those are a little bit of some of the things that I want to do when I'm elected as mayor. But the biggest thing, all of that cannot happen unless we listen to the people that we
Right.
serve.
And allowing everyone to feel like their voice is heard and that it's all the people, right? There's such a divide, but you have to speak to all the people and everyone's voice needs to be heard. Whether it's good or bad, they have to feel safe to come to you and building that relationship. And I think that's key, and we need that to get away from such a divide that we have. We don't have to agree on everything. We're not going
We're
to.
not going to.
Can't make everyone happy, but we have to get back to that common goal of what's going to make the city as a whole better. Yeah, thank you. Okay, going to the voting polls, when someone walks into that voting booth and they see your name on that ballot, because there's a couple,
5 of us all together.
there's
Yeah,
five,
yeah,
that's a big
yeah.
list,
It's a
you
big
know?
list.
Some people might get up there and be like, oh
Yeah,
my.
it can be a little
If they don't
daunting.
know you already,
Yeah.
what do you want people to remember when they go in there and see your name?
I believe that when people go into that ballot, they're going to see 5 different choices, right? And within those 5 different choices, each candidate brings a different perspective, a different way forward. But I'm the only one on that ballot that I can genuinely say has the heart for the city. Everyone on there, I can't speak to everyone else's campaign, but I can definitely say that my campaign is the only one that's structured in a way that is Prairie View focused future. I'm looking at how we can positively bring our city forward, move our city in a direction that is never seen before. And that's going to entail bringing our community together and our students together. I'm the only candidate out of all other four of those people that's working to bring our community and our campus together, because at the end of the day, we are one PV.
Yeah.
We might have our different sectors of the community, campus side, community side, off campus, the community. But at the end of the day, we are one PV. So that's what I want to remind people as they're going throughout the campaign. What type of city you want to live in? You want to live in work, thrive city, infrastructure city. How can we build a city that works for its people? And I want y'all then to remember that as we're going into the voting poll. I know when I'm going in the voting poll myself, I'm going to be thinking about when I select my name as a person that, okay, I'm making commitment to myself that I'm willing to do all of the things that I've set forth in this campaign to make sure that our city moves forward. And that's what it's going to take. So when people go into that voting booth, they're going to see 5 names, 4 other candidates, but there's only going to be one person who has the experience as a former city council member, one of them who is a lawyer, one of them who has graduated from the top law school in the state, graduated from this university, has a history of fighting for people at every level of government. And that's what I want them to remember as they're going into that. I have a pretty powerful name, so it's not something that can be forgotten, but more so, I want them to remember what we're trying to do when I select that name. And they're a part of that mission bringing us together. So,
Yes. So powerful. Thank you for that. Anything we haven't covered, whether it's about your campaign specifically or the local elections in general, anything else you think of that you need to put out there?
I was looking at Judge Trey Duhan made a post the other day about how Waller County is, I think it's like the second fastest growing county in the nation. And it really was just like, sheesh, the second fastest growing county in the nation. And I was just thinking, and here we are in Prairie View, and we really have an opportunity to be a part of that growth. I feel like PV is set up in a really great space, like where we are geographically and where we are economically. I feel like we're set up in a really good space to really capitalize on that growth.
Yeah.
But it's going to take structured leadership. It's going to take all of us coming together. And I've been saying, I'm going to continue saying throughout this campaign, we can't do nothing unless we come together. And if we continue to fight at each other, opportunities will pass us by. So I'm going to, throughout this campaign, I'm going to encourage us to, as they say in Black Panther, lay down your weapons, all right, throw down your swords, but because we really need to start coming together, making jelly. Former Mayor Frank Jackson always used to tell me when I was a student here, he used to tell me all the time, there's tree shakers and there's jelly makers. You figure out which one you are. I like to say that I'm a tree shaker myself, but I do know how to make some jelly. But that's what it's going to take, though, to move our city forward. We're going to need some cheese shakers, but we're also going to need those jelly makers to kind of mold things together. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think you have a great message. I wish you all the best. Honestly, that's tough choices, but that's a good problem to have so many wonderful candidates in the race. I know all each different, but I love to see it. I love that we have so many options to choose from. That's what voting is, having your options. So people think your voice doesn't matter, but look at all these options you have. It does matter.
And you get to go select someone who represents that voice.
You get to choose that. Yes, that is a choice in itself. We can't control who wins necessarily, but we do get to control who we vote for, and that says something
who represents
in itself.
us.
And not just, it's not just about one person showing to vote. You need to go bring a whole car full of people. Like, you get a friend, phone a friend, bring them in, get a car full going, and just get them all there.
Yeah, during storm, we
need.
have a whole plan. We got to figure out what we got to do to get the people out to vote. But that's what's going to take, getting people out to vote, because that's how the needle moves the thread, is getting out to vote. We can talk about the problems, but if we're not voting about those problems, we're just talking.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
your time.